I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Omarr Norman-Lott sucks. He was a complete bust.
He's a bust. His second preseason game.
The second preseason game, and he's a bust.
You're high. Stop smoking the weed.
PFF rated him a 0 pass blocking grade. He had one opportunity and just whiffed it.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the podcast.
Chiefs Kingdom, ACU crew, how we doing, baby? We're all chiefed up, and we're back with another podcast for that ass. It is Tuesday, August the 19th. The Chiefs have played a couple of preseason games, and they got one more to go before the real deal kicks off, Mike, in Brazil. It's going to be a good time. Let's talk about some Chiefs football, man. Let's get it kicked off with some running back stuff, man. How do you think these guys have been looking in the preseason so far? Because this is a very intriguing room.
Yeah, first off, I think you're being a little liberal with the words. We've played 2 preseason games. We've showed up to 2 preseason games. We're not really playing any football. We're just out there with our tail tucked between our legs, just out there wasting time.
How dare them not play Patrick Mahomes 100% of the time in the preseason?
Hey, look, I don't think we need to get too fired up over the preseason. People are taking a little too much. They're calling people bust after 2 games in the NFL. They're calling
out of control.
You know, people are saying, you know, this guy's a NFL Hall of Fame legend out there, like Tyquan Thornton for some camp practices. We've got to let it play out. This is the process. But let's talk about running backs, like you just said. There's a few observations I seen the other day. Carson Steele got a lot of the playing time early. From what I've seen of Carson Steele, I seen one where he missed a block coming up the middle.
Well, surprise.
Yeah, and the quarterback almost got killed. And look, PFF rated him a 0 pass blocking grade. He had one opportunity and just whiffed it. This kid, Carson Steele, for me right now, I don't think he's going to make the team. Like, I've completely 180'd on him.
That? You're finally on the train.
Well, I thought that there was a chance that he could get on as that fullback. And it seemed like Andy and them wanted to do it, but I'm with you. If you cannot protect Patrick Mahomes, and look, people said fumble.
That's 100% the problem.
He did fumble, but after he fumbled versus the Falcons, he got Mahomes lit up, and Mahomes yelled right in his face, and we never seen him again. It's protection more than fumble. So basically, it's security no matter what. You got to secure the quarterback, secure the ball. Carson Steele did not. He's not fixing this in his game. So look, if he couldn't do it against third stringers, I don't know if he's going to ever be able to do it. I also watched him on a kickoff coverage. He didn't even know it wasn't coverage. He was supposed to be blocking. He whiffed the block there too, and his guy made the tackle. So Carson Steele for me now is having trouble because from what I've seen from Elijah Mitchell, I think sometimes when Elijah Mitchell catches the ball out of the backfield, sometimes gets some runs. He looks a lot like an Andy Reid style back, as in he looks a little shifty. He looks this and that. But I think none look the part as much as Brashard Smith did, Steve. Brashard Smith.
That's a cliche, Michael. You can't just say an Andy Reid style running back.
Well, there's a thing. Okay, if you see Derrick Henry and Andy Reid offense, let me know because it's never happening. Yeah, but I think Brashard Smith looked good the other day, man. He had a couple good change of directions.
Excellent.
He showed his burst. A lot of people said he can't change field. His arm was waving like this, and he can't change field. That's proof that he can't change and he can't cut up the field. And I'm like, you guys need to get off X. You don't understand football,
dude.
Like, just
if
get off.
You don't think that he can change field, then you're crazy. You're high. Stop smoking the weed and just start watching more football. Dude, Brashard Smith was doing things that we haven't seen since like Jamal Charles.
Right. In
preseason. And it's like, dude, there's so much left in the tank of that guy. But let's start way back at Carson Steele, because you brought up Carson Steele. Here's my assessment of Carson Steele. I love the guy. I think he's cool. He's intriguing, right? Fun, whatever you want to say. But here's the problem. Carson Steele is a big bruising back that has made his living, got all the way to this point in his football career by being stronger than other people. In high school, he outpowered everybody and had big runs. In college, he outpowered people and had big runs. He got to the NFL, and yeah, you can get another yard or two by turning your legs, but you're not going to break off anything without any speed. Carson still don't have the speed. And then on top of that, he doesn't have anything that makes you want him on the roster. Because like you said, he can't protect the quarterback. That is the main thing that you want from Carson Steele. If he's in there and he's not getting a direct handoff, he better be blocking somebody, and the guy can't block to save his ass. So what is that? What good is he? Who wants a fullback on the team that can't even block? Doesn't make any sense. I think he's definitely probably going to the practice squad. We'll see. Andy might put him on there. I don't know. But Elijah Mitchell, he's not done anything to impress me. I think that you're right.
No,
I do think he
absolutely
looks
not.
like a guy that could be in the Andy Reid offense, and it makes some sense. But at the same time, he hasn't done anything spectacular. But you know who has? Brashard Smith. Brashard
Right.
Smith looks way better than the other guys. And I'm excluding Pacheco because Pacheco is your outright number one. I'm excluding Kareem Hunt because we know what we have with Kareem Hunt, and he's going to get the second most carries on this team. But Brashard Smith is that change of pace guy that we can put in and not only hit a home run out of the running game, but you can also use him in the passing game. And that's exactly what this team has needed for the last 2 years. Since Jet McKinnon's been gone, that is what we've been missing. We have to have it. And I think Brashard Smith gives you that wrinkle. And at the same time, he seems like a more willing, smart blocker than freaking Carson Steele, and he's a third of his size.
Yeah.
So I think Brashard Smith's definitely the story in that running back room. He looked spectacular the other night.
Brashard Smith looks like he could play in this league. He looks like he's part of this offense. And I do believe if you compare it back to his college tape, there were some runs I seen that mimic the run you seen the other night versus the Seahawks. And so his speed is translating over to the NFL. I think his field vision definitely needs to improve just a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad as I think Pacheco's was coming in, and Pacheco's has got a little bit better. Steve, Pacheco is a beast. It looked like he got a little bit of his speed, his pops back, baby. And he looked pretty good the other day. Now you have to remember they used him in the passing game. So it was a pass play.
Sweet
we would like to
Jesus,
see
just
more
do
of this
it.
going forward.
Just do that. I don't
This
understand
is what we've
it.
wanted going forward. They do this every year in camp. They'll use him like this. And then when it comes to season, nothing happens. But I'm with you. Pop is a lock. He's your RB1. Kareem Hunt's your short yardage guy. And I'm pretty sure he pretty much cancels out everything Carson Steele gives you is Kareem Hunt. So
Yeah.
I'm debating right now, do they keep 3 or do they keep 4? Because Brashard Smith's on the team. They're definitely keeping 3. Do they want to take Elijah Mitchell or not? I don't know. You may not have to because I don't know if he gives you anything different than what they have.
He's insurance. I think they will take Elijah Mitchell for insurance just in case Pacheco goes down. Or
And Carson
Kareem Hunt
Steele
goes down.
is on the practice squad then. We think
100%.
that they're not taking the fullback. They'll just go ahead and put him on the practice squad.
I don't think this is a roster where you're looking at it. We got Rashee Rice going out on a suspension. You're going to have to take 7 wide receivers. There's some other things. You're going to take 4 tight ends at this point, probably, because Big Bob Tonyan, baby.
Yeah.
So it's like you have a lot of positions that you have to take a little bit extra. So there's no way you can just take Carson Steele as extra because what else is he? Honestly, even if he did make the roster, Mike, how often do you think you would even see him on the football field? After they decided he couldn't block last year and couldn't protect Patrick Mahomes, you never saw him for the rest of the season. So who cares if he's on the roster? Like at this point, like I said, love the kid. I think he's fun. I think he is a good football player. He's just got to get there. He's not there yet, and I don't think we need him.
Right. I think they're going to go 3, maybe 4 if they want to go ahead and keep Elijah Mitchell, like you said, as an insurance policy. Let's move it over a little bit to the defensive line, Steve. I went back and watched some of that defensive line, and look, Chris Jones didn't play any, but Mike Pennell played. Mike Pennell played a lot of snaps, and there was no stopping the run. George Karlaftis was out there. There was no stopping the run. You've seen Charles Omenihu play all the way up into the 4th quarter. There was no stopping the run. A lot of people were confused about this. There's no run. I'm telling you right now, your green dot, Nick Bolton, did not play, and that's why they could not stop the run. There were no linebackers filling any holes until you seen Jeffrey Bossa do it a few times in the second half. I seen Cooper McDonald do it a few times in the second half. But other than that, there were no linebackers at the second level to stop these runs. They were putting bodies on bodies up front. Sometimes they were double teaming whichever way they were going to go, and they were moving these guys out of the way with ease because they were double and triple teaming them. And then there were no linebackers in the holes, and there were no safeties coming down to help. So we had no help on the second and third level, and that's why the Seahawks ran all over us. And I believe going forward, if the team plays fully and Drew Tranquil's out there and Nick Bolton's out there, you're not going to see a Chiefs team get dominated for 230 rushing yards. And I think they had that in like the first half or something. It was insane.
Well, it's about what you can do as a unit, right? If you can't just have one starter out there or 2 starters and think that you're going to do anything. They're not going to do anything by themselves. You need everyone out there. If you have the complete ones on the field, I don't think you see that. Now, am I saying that they're going to be great at run stopping? No, because they never are. But you have to have Nick Bolton. You have to have Drew Tranquil in there cleaning up the mess, right? That's just the Spags defense in general. We've never been a big run stuffing team. They'll go out and try to grab one guy that can help with some of that short yardage stuff, like a Mike Pinnell. We used to have Derek Nottie. We've had some other guys that they like to fill that role with from time to time. But they've never been a big run stuffing team. More than likely, you're going to get stopped by a linebacker. And I mean, if you go back to we had a lot of trouble with the AFC South teams. This is something you brought up recently. We always kind of struggled with the Titans with Derrick Henry. We struggled with the Colts. Any AFC South team, they ground and pound, we have trouble. And here's the reason. Because we almost allow them to get to a second level. It's crazy. Like the running back is not a big concern to us. It just never really is. And I think what it was is you had those linebackers out there the other night that couldn't get the job done. And that's just what you saw. If Nick Bolton was on the field, Drew Tranquil's on the field, Leo's on the field more, I think it's a different story.
Yeah, I seen a tweet the other day, and I can't remember off the top of my head who said it, but it really made some sense. It said maturing is understanding that Spags is going to make tons and tons of questionable decisions when it comes to personnel or the fact that he has a certain type of defensive end and he won't play certain types. There's always those things with Spags, but you put up with those because you know he's going to give you some amazing schemes come playoff times. And he's going to confuse quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson when it comes to playoff times. And even when you get to the Super Bowl sometimes.
Yeah.
He tried it with Jalen Hurts. It just didn't work out. Hurts ended up like just reading him like a book. So that's the thing. Like, you deal with it. But Spags does have these questionable things. These specific defensive end types. They just don't pan out. Like, we talked about Omenihu. Omenihu was holding out all offseason. Not really holding out, but he was talking about how he deserves more money, this and that. The cat played into the fourth quarter, and he gave the most piss-poor effort that entire preseason game. Yeah. Like, you could tell he didn't want to be there. The whole team didn't really want to be there. But he did. You could see he didn't want to be on the field. He almost felt slighted that he wasn't being able to sit on the sideline like the rest of them because he's supposed to be the big, bad, money defensive end. And he didn't do much. He played horribly.
Charles Omenihu is a product of his own hype. That's all he is. He wants to hype himself up like he's the greatest freaking edge rusher in the entire league, and he's just not that great. He's okay.
Do you know who outplayed him in that Seahawks game? I went back and watched all 22 again this morning. Malik Herring outplayed Charles Omenihu by far. Malik Herring was actually getting
some effort.
Now, yeah, he did. He was giving tons of effort. He stopped a few runs. There was one play where he should have had a play blown up in the backfield. He missed the tackle. So that was a big time whatever. But, I mean, if you're back there making the guy have to miss and you're slowing him down, somebody else should have been there. And, of course, there was no linebackers to fill the gap. So, look, Malik Herring actually played pretty well. I seen good things from Tui Pelotu on the inside. Fabian Levette was getting pushed off the ball a little bit. I thought Izzard looked really good in certain run sets. Like, he may be the best run stuffer there, and the closer to what Derek Nottie should have played like was Kozai Izzard. But, Steve, a lot of people were focusing on second-round draft pick Omarr Norman-Lott. We've even seen people calling him a bust to this point.
He's a bust. His second preseason game.
The second preseason game, and he's a bust. And like we've pointed out time and time again, this dude had a 19% pass rush win rate at Tennessee. He's a high-effort motor guy, and the Chiefs have now made him put on weight. And instead of doing the Turk Wharton role, it's almost like they got him playing the Derek Nottie role. Like, we've said this time and time again. That's not the guy that was supposed to be drafted in the second round. That's not the guy we evaluated. That's not the guy I pounded the table for. If you're trying to turn this guy into a run-stuffing defensive tackle, you may be in for a long, long season.
He's in for a long career because that's not him.
Especially with these fan bases that is going to come out here and just rail on him.
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head that Spags has certain types of guys that he wants, and he does his defense a little bit differently. That's why you're never going to see in the Spags era a defensive end that just goes crazy. We're never going to get that Nick Bonito. You're never going to get that Aiden Hutchinson. You're never going to get these edge rushers that just get 17 sacks a season. It's not going to happen because they will not draft those types of guys. They're going to draft the George Karlaftises of the world. They're going to draft Ashton Gelati, who essentially is George Karlaftis, but a little quicker. They're not going to go get these high-profile edge rushers. That's not what they do. And then you get a guy like Omarr Norman-Lott that can actually bring a lot to your pass rush. Like, he can kind of get some pressure from the inside right there beside Chris Jones. This is what he's known for. This is what he does. You go back, watch his tape. Quick first step, always disrupting. And what do? Hey, here, eat this. and play Derek Nottie role. Put on this Derek Nottie costume, please.
Eat some donuts and then get out there and try to play. I don't know. He's a good enough athlete, though, right?
Would you draft Derek Nottie in the second round?
Right. You can't.
That's what's crazy.
Keandre Colburn, do you draft him in the second round? No.
Why would you take your second round draft pick that was literally there at that juncture because he was a pass rusher? That's why he was so high profile, because he could get after the passer.
Yeah.
Like you said, the pass rush win rate was high. Now let's make him run stuff. It's crazy.
So I wanted to find out, though. Was I going to have to get on here and be like, look, I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Omarr Norman-Lott sucks. He was a complete bust. Was I going to have to get on here and say that? So I got on there and I watched the All 22 again this morning.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but you wouldn't have to say that regardless after 2 preseason games.
Exactly.
That's wild.
But the point is I wanted to say, what is people seeing, or are they not seeing things? And here's precisely what they're not seeing. They're not seeing the All 22 film. They've not seen Omarr Norman-Lott just make a 1v1, a blown, assignment, and him just coming up and blowing up the quarterback. And yes, it looks pretty, but that's a blown assignment that doesn't happen 99.9% of the time. You want to see him the dirty, the nitty gritty. And so I went back and watched the All 22, and that's what a lot of people are not watching. Steve, Omarr Norman-Lott did not play that bad. For people to call him a bust is insane. Yes, he gained some weight. Yes, he was in there on a lot of run downs and things like that. But there were several plays where he took on double teams and he was standing them up and causing people to get to the ball carrier, sometimes in the backfield. There were times where he was standing up his guy and causing the running back to have to cut back to a different lane. There were certain times where he was getting stood up on a double team and he was still working himself down the line and was getting in on tackles. And then in a pass rush situation, there was one rep where the cat he pushes the guard all the way back into the backfield 4 yards and then has Drew Lock, I think. It might have been Milrow. I don't know when it was. But he had the quarterback in his grasp. A QB hit, took him to the ground, and of course Cam Jones was trailing 15 yards behind the crossing wide receiver, and so he just flips the ball up and the guy ends up getting a big play off of it because the linebacker wasn't in the right place. Surprise, surprise. That was the theme of the whole game the other day. But dude, Omarr Norman-Lott did not play as bad as they said he did. People are insane. They've got to chill on this. Like, yes, does he need to be rushing the passer more? Absolutely. Should he be doing it maybe 20 pounds less? Maybe so. But we've got to let this play out. And just because he doesn't have the ESPN highlight play after 2 preseason games, we can't put this guy as a bust already, man. That's insane.
Right. Well, Omarr Norman-Lott has a lot of talent. He's a good football player. So can he kind of be a chameleon? Can he do a little bit different things that Spags might be asking him to do, or Joe Colton, or whoever came up with this grand idea? Yeah, he might be able to do that, and he might be successful. If you think about it and you go back to like Derek Nottie, we keep bringing up Derek Nottie, but he's a really recent guy. He was kind of that run stuffing, bigger defensive tackle. But there were flashes where he actually would get a sack or he would get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
So in that position, you still have the opportunity to do that. And I think that Omarr Norman-Lott will do it at a higher level than said player like Derek Nottie or whoever, because he's really good at that. So maybe what they're really hoping for is to get a really well-rounded defensive tackle that can do both. And he can play more than just set snaps, because in college, that was the big thing on Omarr Norman-Lott that kind of swayed people away from him, was he only plays on pass rushing snaps.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any rush defense out of him. He only plays a small portion of the game. His conditioning's bad, blah, 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 blah. So maybe what they're trying to do is well-round him, keep him out there on the field more, and by him being able to be on the field more as a run stuffer and stuff like that, he's going to have more opportunities in turn to rush the passer. I don't know. Maybe that's the idea. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But I do think Omarr Norman-Lott is a good enough player that he's going to be able to adapt. And people should definitely not be calling absolutely anyone a bust at this juncture. If they're a rookie especially, just don't. That's wild.
Steve, you hit the nail on the head. Omarr Norman-Lott is a good enough athlete that I do believe that he can survive adding 15 to 25 pounds. Now, look, is it going to take him some time to grow into that body and to understand how he has to move now? Maybe he's a step slower than he's used to. He's going to have to win with technique more. There's a lot of things that may come along with that. But he is such a good athlete that I do think he will figure this out. And like you said, if he was getting pushed around in the run game because of his size, then he became a liability. And I think they'll give up a little bit of pass rush to not be a liability, but to be an asset in the run game. And so I still think that it makes his road going forward a lot harder. And this is not the guy I evaluated. If this is what you were going to do, and you told me no, whoever they take, and Omarr Norman-Lott especially, they're not really going to just use him as a specialist to go after the passer.
They're going to that guy then.
Yeah. They're going to go ahead and make him add 20 to 25 pounds. They're going to try to put him in the run game. Then I'd be like, okay, you can still draft him, but it better be round 4 or later. Yeah, it wasn't that end of round 1 to round 2 guy. So, look, it is what it is, but at the end of the day, we can't be calling these guys bust. But you know who we can call a bust? At this point, it's official. Skyy Moore's a bust. It's beyond official at this point. Steve, I did not know. Do you remember the play where he dropped that wide open pass right over the middle on that little, he come across the formation?
Or something?
Yeah, it was not even a screen. He just come back across the formation, and if I could find the clip, I'll throw it up. But he drops
a little drag route or something?
Yeah, he run behind everybody. So the line went one way, and he fell in behind the line. It's almost like a jet sweep in a way. And they flipped him the ball because the momentum was going the other way, and he just drops it. Now, look, if he had caught the ball, he probably don't go very far. He goes maybe 5 yards. He gets drilled. There's like 2 or 3 guys waiting for him. But still, you got to catch the ball. Did you know he dropped another pass literally 5 minutes later? Did you even see that one? Because I missed that in the live game. He dropped yet another pass right in his hands that Oladokin threw him, and he just literally dropped it, and then he continued to play. And I'm thinking, why is this guy not cut and escorted out of the stadium at this point?
Because he has the freaking yips, and they're never going to get solved in Kansas City. It's just not. I mean, we saw on that punt return the abilities that Skyy Moore has. His speed is almost elite speed. His short area quickness is elite. His field vision is great. But there's a problem. You have to be able to catch the ball. And he's so far in his head that he can't do that. He can't do the most basic thing.
Steve, he needs to play running back.
Is busted, bro.
He needs to be a running back at this point. The way they were trying that with Kadarius Toney when he had the yips in camp. Well, they were just trying to get him the ball.
Did it work? No, it didn't work.
It didn't. But look, here's the thing. That's your last resort. If we start seeing them taking handoffs in practice,
you see a change of scenery for Skyy Moore. The hopes of Skyy Moore being a piece in Kansas City is long gone, brother. But the hopes that maybe his career could be decent somewhere else, it's still there. So maybe we should look into doing him a favor and getting him out of here. But I want to keep that same Omarr Norman-Lott energy where you have a really good athlete that people are calling a bust too soon and flip it to the offensive side of the trenches. Let's talk about Kingsley Suamataia.
Okay, go for it.
Because this kid has been taking some heat. He's played 2 preseason games so far as a left guard. Now, he did play left guard for a bit in Week 18 against the Broncos last season, but these are his first 2 games really being the left guard on the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's had a small sample size of snaps in both games. People have lost their damn minds. They've gone crazy. They've hit the panic button. Kingsley's terrible. Kingsley's awful. He's a bust. He's never going to be good. He can't do anything. He's weak. He's dumb. You name it, it's been said at this point. And we've gone back and watched the tape on Kingsley, Mike. I watched every snap of Kingsley in the preseason. And I will just say this. I think he's done pretty good. Now, are there problems there? Absolutely. Are there places he can improve? Pass protection. Absolutely. But Kingsley is a freak athlete. He's got the speed. He's got the size. All we have to do is get this kid to learn the guard position. Because we pointed out a lot of things that he was doing wrong as a guard because he's kind of got that tackle mentality ingrained in him, right? So he's got to change a little bit. He's got to adapt. Just like Omarr Norman-Lott's going to have to adapt if they want him to do something different. It's kind of the same boat to me on a different side of the ball. This kid's 22 years old. Why are we calling him a bust? This is nuts.
Look, if you want to call anybody a bust, I'm starting to jump on the Andy Heck sucks coaching bandwagon. I'm starting to get there.
Yeah.
Like I've always had the intuition, but we've had people in our chat for months and months being
we have somebody that wants to fight Andy Heck.
They would probably show up and fight him. But look, I just don't think Andy Heck is doing a good job of developing people. Like, who has he actually had to work out here? Creed Humphrey, a generational talent at center that would have worked out anywhere he went.
Right.
Trey Smith, a guy that we took in the 6th round, he didn't develop him from a 6th round to a starter. Trey Smith was a 1st or 2nd round pick
right.
with medical issues. That was it. Who's the next one? Oh, Kingsley, he's looked bad in two different positions now to a certain degree. Jawan Taylor comes over. They haven't cleaned up anything with Jawan Taylor. Everything he struggled with in Jacksonville has not been cleaned up in 2.5 years. You don't have anybody. Wanye Morris was kind of a hit or miss guy in round 3. He stunk. Lucas Niang never could get him on the field. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, the best one probably that come out of nowhere might be Caliendo and maybe Nick Allegretti at some point. But those two guys still played and had limitations and could only give you so much.
Those are just hard-nosed, nitty-gritty workers.
Right.
Like he just got
and you're
really
not
good work
seeing it
ethic with
develop.
those guys.
If Josh Simmons pans out, and I fully believe he will because Josh Simmons is a hell of a football player, it's happening because Josh Simmons is a hell of a football player, not because anything we're teaching him. This is 2 years in a row now that they have taken a rookie left tackle and they've not given them a camp battle. And they're not letting them play in the preseason. They're pulling them with the ones as if they've already made the Hall of Fame. Right. You've now put Kingsley in another position, and you're not giving him any camp battle. His camp battle's Caliendo, who they've already conceded it. They already conceded that it was Kingsley. They started rotating in Jalen Moore a little bit, but still, Kingsley is the guy that's starting with the ones, and he's coming out after 9 plays. Like, they are not giving these guys camp battles. They're not doing it properly. Well, if Kingsley turns out to be a bust, it's on Andy Heck.
I want to add to that because they went and drafted Hunter Norzad, CJ Hansen, some of those kids. They looked awful in this preseason game.
There were people saying they loved CJ Hansen's film, and I couldn't see it.
I didn't think that either of them looked great. But hey,
Norzad more. I like Norzad more than Hansen.
Let me go back and watch it so I can be fair. But just off the first rip, then I didn't see nothing that impressed me. I'm with you. I think Andy Heck does have a problem here. Like, if he is good at this, he's really got to turn it up.
Steve, this is the guy that give up 7 sacks in a game to Derek Thomas. And we thought it'd be a good idea to hire him as a special or as an offensive line coach for the team that he give up the sacks for.
They hired him to see what not to do, and then somewhere along the lines they forgot that, and they just think he's the actual.
And they were like, "Let's teach this guy how to do this." Like, he's literally teaching our left tackles to play left tackle the same way he did, horribly. Like, what's going on?
I don't know. There's definitely an issue there. I think with the Kingsley thing, practice some patience, young Padawan.
Steve, we brought it up the other night on our live. Go back and watch our live from a few nights ago. It was on Sunday night. We brought up the Kingsley plays. The first play where he got blown up, he stepped on Pacheco's foot when he tried to anchor.
Well, that's
so this is
problem.
2 weeks in a row now. He's did that.
Right. I think that's about knowing where you're at on the field. I think it's about the technique there. I think it's also, we talked about how he's got to take the power to that defensive tackle or whoever he's blocking. He's sitting back and trying to fade back and wait for it like a tackle.
He's playing it like a left tackle. He's not being aggressive enough.
Right. And I mean, we're not the only ones to say that. Jeff Schwartz, who was a guard in the NFL, said the same thing. He said, hey, Kingsley's fine. He's a hell of a run blocker, absolute road grader. The kid's insane. He was like, but on these pass protection plays, he's got to take the hit to the defense. He's waiting for it.
I feel like pass protection is a lot of communication, and run blocking is a lot of just knowing your assignment. And you know your gap, you know where you got to go, and you go do it.
Well,
you can see the difference. He's in his head a lot. We even showed that play where he set, and when he set with too big of a back step, just like a tackle does, not a guard. You got to tighten those steps as a guard. You could compare him to Trey Smith on the other side. Trey Smith's taking baby. Exactly. He's taking baby steps, and Kingsley's throwing his left foot back like he's playing tackle. And then he extends his full arm after he checks to see if the linebacker's coming. You can't check in the middle of your in the middle of your rep because you're going to get beat by these guys. And sure enough, he extends his full arm. The guy does a little swim move, goes right by him. Like, Kingsley's got to clean up the small things. He's got to know exactly what his play is, and he's got to be confident in it.
That's what you would hope would come with some experience, right? Just let him get the coaching. Reps. Yeah, I mean, he's got to learn this stuff, and it's got to come natural to him. Right now, it doesn't. It's a new position for him, and I think it's okay that it doesn't come natural to him at this point. But like I've said time and time again, I don't think you're really going to know what any of these guys are at their positions as far as the left side of the offensive line, Kingsley and Josh Simmons, or even Jalen Moore if they were to put him in there. You don't know what you have with them until at least mid-season. because they need time to get in there and actually get comfortable and then see what they're doing. Right now, it's kind of they're still learning, and that's just part of it. When you traded Joe Thuney away and you decided that you're going with Kingsley Suamataia, that was you saying it's okay to let this kid learn. It's okay to take lumps. It's okay for him not to maybe be where he needs to be for the first 8 weeks of the NFL season.
Steve, I think
that's
the coaching
just what
staff
you signed up for.
The coaching staff is there. They're fine with it. It's the fans that's not giving nobody time to develop.
What have you done for me lately? That's what the Chiefs fans have turned into. And when I say that,
they've almost turned into spoiled brats a little bit.
Don't take it lightly, because it's not lately is like in the last 2 weeks.
Why are Chiefs fans forgotten where we've came from? We were horrible. We were horrendous. We were ass.
Well, let's be honest with ourselves here. I think probably 40 to 50% of the fan base haven't been there.
No, they got here in 2018.
Right.
But it is what it is. We appreciate you being here, even if you're for 2018.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. Welcome to the kingdom.
We don't mean to be mean to you, okay? We're just telling you to have a little perspective. Take your time off this weekend.
You know what, though?
And go back and watch some games back from the Todd Haley era, if you will.
I would argue that notion as well, too, because I've seen a lot of old school fans, a lot of really hardcore fans.
Oh, they've got pretty bad, too.
Yeah, it's one of them things. They expect excellence right out the gate, right? And it's just not going to happen sometimes.
You know what's wild? Before you get going, sorry to interrupt, but you remember when we sucked, Pops used to be like that. Pops hated everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody sucks. Dude, we could have drafted somebody. It wasn't even 3 hours later. He would find footage of them playing somewhere on YouTube and be like, they suck. They're a bust already. And Pops was like that. But then now that we started to win, Pops has almost mellowed out a little bit. Like, hey, give him some time. Let him develop. Like, Pops has actually did it the right way. Yeah. Pops for Pops for doing it the right way.
Good job at growing up, man. Good job at growing up.
But it's like, dude, we've been there and we sucked back in the day. You want to talk about sucking? Go back and watch some of the Romeo Cornell days. Go back and watch some Matt Castle football, if you will. Go back and watch some Brody Croyle games, okay? And then come complain to me about how our offense, Kingsley looks bad in a preseason game. Omarr Norman-Lott's a bust already. You want to see a bust? Go watch John Baldwin play a little bit. Do you even know that name?
John freaking Baldwin. Well, here's the thing,
man. Go watch Tank Tyler film. You remember that one? Come on now.
Not trying to talk trash to any fans. Love all you guys. Love the kingdom. But I do think that everyone needs to collectively take a chill pill. They need to calm down a little bit. This is a team that's been to 3 straight Super Bowls on an unprecedented run. Since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter on this team, they have never seen less than an AFC championship game.
Right.
And you're hitting the panic button in week 2 of the preseason after being in 3 consecutive Super Bowls. What are you doing?
Steve,
Just
I've never seen
the process play out.
I've never seen the NFL stop the season when a team had an undefeated preseason and give them a ring and be like, it's over. You guys are just too good.
If you probably go back, I couldn't tell you, but I bet if you go back in the last few years, we probably didn't win hardly any preseason games. And I would double down and say we probably didn't even play good in any of those.
I think last year we won 1. I think we were 1-2, went to the Super Bowl. I mean, It doesn't matter. It's preseason.
It doesn't correlate. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. The only thing that does correlate is I think there's actually a statistic that said if you went undefeated in the preseason, you've never won a Super Bowl. I think that
is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it was.
I thought we went undefeated one time and won.
Maybe we were the first ones to do it, and that's why I'm remembering it. But maybe I'd have to look into that. But there's definitely that's the only correlation. That's the only correlation with preseason. It's time. It's practice, guys. Allen Iverson. It's just practice. We're talking about practice. It's practice. It's practice for these kids like Kingsley Suamataia, who, like you said, needs to be getting more snaps in the preseason. It's practice for young guys like Josh Simmons, who should probably be getting more snaps in the preseason. I understand the hesitancy. I understand that he's coming off an injury. I understand that you don't want to injure any of these guys because that's all we got.
Yeah.
But you have to let them get in there and get ready to go, or else you're going to be waiting until week 8 plus before you start seeing them be where they need to be. I think it's just be patient, man. Just be patient. He's not going to be Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney's an all-pro guy. Joe Thuney's an outlier. He's not going to be that. He's 22 years old. He's playing a new position. Give him some time.
I will say, did you see that clip of Joe Thuney running that route the other day in Chicago? He's routing them up out there. Maybe we should have used him at wide receiver that year. We had to go trade for Mecole Hardman midseason. Maybe we just could have put Tooney out there.
Tooney sandwich, baby.
Steve, let's talk about the wide receivers a little bit. Let's talk about it a little bit. People find the wide receivers fun. They don't find the defensive line fun. It's not glamorous. You know, somebody told me that the other day when I was at the beach. They were like, man, I seen you the other day. It turned out the dude was from Kentucky. He left his lawn chair. I picked it up for him so they wouldn't throw it away. Took it back to him the next day, and he's like, thanks, man. He's like, and I was like, I said, are you from here? And he said, I'm from Kentucky. And I was like, small world. But he was like, I seen you, man. He's like, I knew you were an offensive lineman. I was like, yeah, that's what I did. He said, I played football. I played wide receiver. And I said, see, we're always doing the bad stuff, and they're getting all the ladies. That's just the way it always works.
Taylor Swift and the Swifties of the world don't care about that defensive line.
The Swifties like the offensive guys that score the touchdowns. They don't like the guys opening the holes for them. Okay, that's what it is. I don't know if I should have used that term, opening the holes for them.
Don't get them Swifties after you, brother.
I don't know.
Take you out, son.
I don't know if they like that or not. But okay, let's talk about the wide receivers a little bit because people are still harping on this, and I think rightfully so. There's two guys at the very end of the wide receiver room. Presumably, we're taking 7 because Rashee Rice, unless he reaches an agreement, is not going to be able to start on that reserve list. So you're going to have to take 7, and you're going to have to include Rashee Rice. I do not think they take 8 because I think they have to take 4 tight ends. I think Big Bob and Wiley's on this team. So you've got the 4 tight ends wrapped up. I think now that I can comfortably pull Carson off of my 53 at this point. I think he's gone, and I think you take 4, and you could possibly squeeze out not taking Elijah Mitchell too, to be honest, if Brashard Smith keeps developing. So I do think it's 7, and it looks like Skyy is finally out of this conversation. It's between Tyquan Thornton and Jason Brownlee for me.
That's what you think.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I'm sad
what you
about
think.
it. But I think Tyquan Thornton's got a little bit of a leg up over Brownlee. Brownlee had a play in the Seahawks game that I watched where they threw him a jump ball. And if Brownlee would have came down with it, it would have been a hell of a catch. And this kid may have give Thornton some trouble. But I think when he dropped that, it kind of shows that those big wide receivers that you show those 50-50 jump balls to, no matter how good you are, it's still just a 50-50 jump ball play. And you can't rely on it. And I think that's why Patrick Mahomes won't throw
those.
Yeah, he don't like throwing it for that reason. It's not high percentage. And so at the end of the day, you've seen it. Brownlee caught a high percentage one in the end zone. He drops a 50-50 and he caught a 50-50. So at the end of the day, it's still just 50-50. And I think Andy and them want higher odds. And so I think your higher odd guy is to not throw a 50-50 jump ball to a guy like Brownlee or a Justin Ross. So I think Brownlee's going to fade off, and I think it's going to be Tyquan Thornton's going to be getting that 7th spot.
Yeah, Tyquan Thornton has been the talk of the camp since the beginning, right? People kind of were thrown off guard at what he was able to do early, right? Tyquan Thornton was a guy we got last season, and we kind of just stashed him. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he has this crazy rapport with Patrick Mahomes. Like, look at the chemistry of these two guys. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Constantly going to him. And then you had Andy Reid that brought him up and was like, Tyquan's great. I want to see him in a game situation. Then we saw him in a game situation, and he's making plays in the game. Everybody's excited about this kid.
Yeah.
Skyy Moore, he's kind of walked himself out of Kansas City. I think this is the time, right? But don't be surprised if Dave Toub's not smoking a fat cigar somewhere talking about how, see, I was right. He can't return. Because I wouldn't be surprised. But I think the saving grace for that is Nico Remigio, right? I think Nico Remigio is hands down the best returner on this team. I think he makes the team.
And so he's number 6.
Right. So you got him at 6, and then 7 is going to be Tyquan Thornton. If I had to guess, that's probably at about an 80 to 90% lock right there that Tyquan Thornton would be that 7. Reason being is he can do the things that Jason Brownlee does and more. And
but you got a 10% chance that Skyy Moore is like a wart on your penis. If you ever develop it, you better use your topical cream every day.
That's the thing, man, with Skyy Moore. What if? What could be? What if he didn't have the yips? What if he would just get his head straight, catch the ball? But it's just
we ain't never gonna find that
the hell out of it. Yeah, you're just not. It's just not happening in Kansas City. Get over it. I think it's time to move on there. But Tyquan Thornton does the same things as Brownlee, but he does it at a higher level, and he also runs a 4.2 40. And this kid can go in, play the MVS role, stretch that field out, run and touch the goalpost, and come back every play. Like, that's the kind of things that they can use him for. And not only that, but I think if There were so many shots that we took at Marquez Valdez-Scantling that didn't pan out because Marquez Valdez-Scantling can't catch a football. Okay? He's basically a taller, faster Skyy Moore. And saying faster is crazy because I think Skyy Moore's faster. But Tyquan Thornton has better hands than MVS. So we might be able to make some of those plays. He might be more of a weapon than MVS was in that position.
I mean, if you go back and watch his Baylor stuff, that's why he was considered so high, because he could stretch the field and make those plays.
Right.
I hope that he can find a home here, and I hope he develops well. I think that's a nice little stash by Beach last year.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's almost that time, Mike. It's almost time for us to do our actual 53-man roster prediction and just see how close we can get. This year's going to be tough, brother. This one's a tricky one. I think this roster is very young, and I think that patience is going to be needed by the fan base. And I know we're not good at that now. Now that we've seen the mountaintop, we're horny for it. We don't want to go back to Romeo Crennel days.
We just want the tip. Just the tip.
Yeah,
brother. The tippity top.
We have seen the glory land, and we are not going back. We're not going back. We will not Todd Haley the shit out of this football team. We will not do it. We won't accept anything less than greatness, and that's where we're at. And these guys, they're young, and they're going to need to develop, and just give them time. And then if they don't pan out, then they don't pan out.
I hope Andy has them a little bit more fired up. These guys are fighting for a job, man. You got to show a little bit of life out there. But
fired up, baby, fired up. Guys, we appreciate you all being here with us today. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, do us a favor and give us a 5-star review. Write some kind words down there. Let people know where to find some good Chiefs content. Even if you're on one of those other platforms, I don't even know what they are, but if you listen on them, you're the real one. Leave us a 5-star review. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you know the drill. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and share it out with your friends and family. Let's get this channel rolling, baby. It is football season, and you want to be along with All Chiefed Up because it's going to be a fun one, man. It's shaping up to be a fun one. I'm excited, Mike. I know you're excited, and this fan base should be horned up, baby, because this Chiefs team ain't going away. They ain't going nowhere. This dynasty ain't over, Mike.
No. Get horned for it, man. We're so close to football.
Opposite. You just did the complete opposite of getting
horned
for anything.
Get horned for it, baby. It's football season.
You had a dramatic pause and said, yeah.
Is what it is. I'm a little tired.
Guys, help Mike get horned, okay?
Sorry.
Good grief.
So I was so horned up, I passed out a little bit, but here's what it is. Thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with a friend that might need a little Chiefs content in their life. That's going to wrap it up for us today. We'll see you guys next time. Go Chiefs.